thank you for tuning in to another one of my tutorials. In this demo, I'm going to be showing you how I do a quick monochromatic study of the image of Sedona that you see below. Now, monochromatic studies are really powerful and helpful for a number of reasons because by sticking with one hue, in this case I've chosen purple, I really have to focus on playing with my saturation, my temperature, and of course my value. So you're really practicing all those key concepts revolving around color because you're really not copying the colors you have in the reference, right? I mean, Sedona is not purple, obviously, as in the reference below, but I really have to focus on what feels right in my painting, color temperature wise, value wise, the rocks in relation to the sky, etc., etc. So in this quick demo, you'll see how I start to play around with that. Now, I have chosen this color purple. As you can see, I just put down that swab and I just put it down there so I'll remember my color. And in digital painting, how I do it, and I don't know if this is super accurate, but I will just pick a hue along the right vertical hue slider and I won't move that arrow. So now it's locked into that, magenta color, and I'm going to utilize the whole hue box that you see. I personally like using the hue box because it feels like an actual palette to me. There's other ways that you can pick colors digitally in Photoshop, such as with the HSV sliders or RGB. You can pick your poison. For me, this is what I'm used to, the hue cube. And if you're interested in learning more about color, how I choose colors, all about color anatomy, I go over all that in my course, Essentials of Painting, which, by the way, is now also out on Proko. And currently, as I'm recording this, there is a 20% pre-sale that will go up to February 27th. So make sure you grab a hold of that pre-sale. My course is 20% off, Essentials of Painting on Proko. It's on Proko and it's also on my site. And so now I've just hopefully opened up the opportunity for more people to take my course. And if you sign up, please do let me know and I hope you enjoy it. But I have a whole chapter going in depth about color. So you can see right now I am just roughly blocking in my painting and it's quite crude. I'm right now during the block-in stage, it's always quick, kind of rough and dirty. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, sorry. Kind of quick and just really I want to make sure that I can get a balance of my values and relative saturation, right? And in this particular painting, what I really want to play with is I want to see if I can play with kind of actually popping the saturation more in the shadows versus the light side of the rocks. Now, it might not feel like that in the photo, but it's something that I personally want to play with in my study. So we'll see where that goes. You can see already that I have kept the sky quite desaturated compared to the foreground so that I have a contrast of saturation, right? Not everything is super saturated. And the coolest thing I will mention when you do monochromatic studies is that you really start to notice the power of simultaneous contrast. Because what happens is that when I start picking more gray versions of that purple, more desaturated versions of that purple, they actually will start feeling more orange. They'll start feeling slightly warmer compared to the purples all around those grayer purples. So my eye will naturally seek out the complementary color, which in this case, magenta is kind of like a warmer orange color. So it's amazing how those grays start to take on a life of their own. I always like to say that grays are chameleons. And when you think you're putting down almost a straight gray, it feels like a completely different color when you put it on a canvas that is surrounded by a bunch of other colors. And those other colors influence the way we perceive that color that we put down. So you can already see right here, I'm already actually starting to create depth and I guess, quote unquote, colorfulness, if you can say that, by playing down with more saturated purples and more desaturated purples. You can see that there's areas in my rocks, and I know it's really small right now. I do tend to work like that. So I'm sorry if you're like, I can't see what you're doing, but you're truly seeing how I work in real time. I don't zoom in actually because I need to see the whole picture. So you can start to see how now I'm putting down these grayer purples, and they start to actually feel almost like greenish, actually, in this case, a little bit. To me, it feels a little bit like that, kind of like a green, maybe sometimes a little bit warmer in some other cases. So it's really interesting to see how colors vibrate against each other. So what I'm trying to do now is see how much I can push those grays. Now, one important caveat is that no matter what color I'm putting down, it has to be the right level it has to be the right value, the right level of lightness or darkness, right? Which is what value is. So if I put down a saturated color that's too light or too dark, or a grayer color that's too light or too dark, it is going to look funny in the painting because the value is simply not right. So even though the colors I'm putting down are nothing like the reference that I have that you see on the bottom, I'm making sure that the values are more or less working for my painting and that I'm, keying it correctly. I want to go for something dramatic, so I want to go for these darker shadows and really push that contrast. This is definitely a more higher contrast painting with really pushed dark shadows and a strong source of light. So definitely want to play with that a little bit as well. And you can see with just one hue, just that purple, and playing around within that hue cube, I don't think the painting feels quote unquote monochromatic, right? It's starting to have layers of color. You can see that in the shadow area, I'm actually pushing the saturation a little bit more compared to the light areas. So what I mean by that is that the shadows are a rich, deep purple, but not desaturated rich, deep purple. Whereas the light side is a lighter grayish purple. So I'm playing around with that. I do feel like if I had a deep saturated purple in the shadows and a deep light and a saturated bright purple for the light side, they might compete a little bit. So that's why I'm trying to balance that out. I'm also now playing with the smudge tool a little bit to see if I can lose some edges and therefore bring the foreground a little bit closer to us, because soft edges do tend to push back into space, while harder edges do tend to come forward because they're crisper and you can make out the subject matter a little bit more. So I'm just playing around with that. But really, I'm sticking with quite simple brushes, just a really graphic block and brush, a hard brush. I'm also sometimes using the lasso tool to just move things around and cut things out and see what happens. And if you're new to Photoshop, this is actually one of those exercises where you don't need fancy brushes. You really just need like 2 brushes and like one color, right? And just choose like any color and just stick with that hue cube, the colors within that hue cube. So this is honestly a really nice, I would say, entry level exercise, not in the fact that it's easy, but in the fact that it is low stakes and it doesn't take a lot of, I would say, technical skills to be able to do this kind of exercise. And you could also try this traditionally as well, of course. You can see that I'm zooming in and out just to see if my values are working, and I've also turned it black and white just to make sure my values are working as well, which is really, really important to do. And I think for now, as a quick study, this took about 15 minutes, right? I learned a lot about what a monochromatic study can do, right? I learned where I can push saturation just a little bit, where when I'm pushing it too much, Now I'm using curves just to adjust the contrast a little bit, but I think I decided that's too much. Sometimes I'll play around with adjustment layers and usually just say, nah, I don't think so. All right, if you've made it this far, thank you. And I want to now show my quote unquote finished study and talk a little bit more about my process and what I did after I finished recording and worked on the painting a little bit more. So you can see that I actually now deviated from the purple that you saw me chose, and I expanded a little bit more into an analogous color palette, meaning I chose a surrounding cooler purples, some bluer purples, and also some redder purples. And that's really about it. So I just expanded the palette a little bit more, and you can see that I'm throwing those hints of cooler purples in some parts of the shadow, even in some parts of the light, as you can see. And all those colors that you see feel kind of greenish actually are actually just desaturated purple, reddish purples. So all those areas that you see I'm selecting for you now, those are not green. I did not want to go to the greens at all. So those colors that you feel kind of like greenish in the clouds and in the shadow of the rocks and in the ground, yeah, those are just desaturated versions of all the colors that you see on this painting. So it really shows how much fun you can have playing with just a really limited color palette. It really trains you to develop a more sensitive eye to really picking up on color temperatures, because you put something down, you're like, does that feel good? Does it feel too cool? Does it feel too warm? Could I actually push this a little bit more saturated? What happens if I push the shadows a little bit more saturated, even though it's nothing like I see in the reference photo or doesn't really make sense in real life, right? I feel like monochromatic studies allow you to deviate from the rules a little bit and allows you to be more creative in the way that you choose colors. Of course, all the while having it make sense with the way that the temperatures vibe with each other, the values, of course. So all those always have to be maintained. You can't just throw value out the window. And you can't just throw temperature out the window because your painting will feel off in some way. So I'm always searching for that right balance of saturation and temperature, because to me, saturation informs temperature, right? When you choose a color that is more saturated, it might feel cooler or warmer to its desaturated counterpart. And again, this is something I talk about in my course, Essentials of Painting. Okay, everyone thinks that a desaturated color is always gross and muddy, but in this case, if I have a cooler purple as my base, if I pick a desaturated version of that purple, it might actually feel warmer because it's going to start leaning towards its complementary counterpart, which is yellow. However, if I started off with, let's say, a green dominant painting, any desaturated color that I might choose might actually, or actually no, I should actually say orange. Let's say if I started with like an orange dominant painting, any desaturated orange color I might choose might actually start to feel quite cool, almost like a blue, right? So the opposite, because blue is a complementary color of orange and is actually relatively cooler compared to orange, right? So playing around with, doing different hue-based paintings can be really fun to explore that. Now, just for fun, I'm including the second version I did of this painting. I felt like my first study was kind of boring, and I'm kind of in a place right now with my art. I really want to try to play with being more abstract, play with textures and everything. And so this was just a fun exercise for me. I flipped my canvas around, painted upside down, didn't know what would happen, and this is what happened. And I wouldn't call it anything finished. It was just sort of a fun exercise for me to see how far I could push my painting in terms of abstractness while still sticking to that monochromatic palette. Thank you so much for tuning into this tutorial. And again, if you want to learn more about color, sign up for my course, Essentials of Painting, on my site or on Proco, which is having a 20% pre-sale right now that ends February 27th, 2026. And I look forward to catching you in the next video I have up.